Okay, we are live. On YouTube. Make sure I catch it. There we go. We're muted. Dropping the like bomb. And let's see who comes in.
Don't do this to me.
Oh, my commercial is Magic the Gathering. Alrighty.
Oh my God. Come on.
Would you freeze?
No. It's saying it can't find my IP address.
Uh-oh.
Oh, come on. Don't do this.
Uh-oh.
That means I will have to hop out of here, shut everything down, and restart.
Yeah, we'll be here. Let's see. We got Diary of Her Mind. Amanda Costas. Toxic is in here.
I'll be back.
Ronnie Oakley. And Diary of Her Mind. I'm just a YouTuber, bro. Toxic says. Sherry B. What's going on? And we're going to let the chat build up for a few minutes here. See how many we get in here. Come on, mute that. You're hearing it live, honey. Come on. Tales of the Solstice. Hello. We got some interesting things to talk about this evening, folks.
Interesting.
And it's kind of a trending topic because I actually seen it the other day on Facebook. That's where I first seen it. I was like, oh, yeah, I seen that, you know. Lou was telling me about it. And it's right there. It's almost as shocking as Oh My Gosh, the Time Traveler.
And it leads right back to Dog Ham too. All right, here you go. You mentioned it. You had to say the time traveler part, and here you go. You guys decide for yourself. I know I've been talking about this a lot lately, and people are like, yo, Lou, man, enough with the Omar as a time traveler. Thing is, people think that this looks like Omar so much that they've been saying that I used an app to make it look like him. Now, if you look, there's a rip through the picture, and actually you can just go look on my video. I don't even notice at the time when I'm recording it that it looked like Omar. I'm just like, wow, that just looks like some really old picture. And
that was just that was the picture from the new hoarder house, right?
Yeah. I seen it, and it's like from, I would say, the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's like a charcoal or pencil sketch, and it's beautiful, and somebody kicked a hole in it. And I was like, man, that is such a shame that somebody ruined something with all that history in it. They ruined it.
Work and talent that went into creating it. I mean,
yeah, exactly. But if you look at the pictures side by side, I mean, it's uncanny. That's all. And if you actually go and look at the full pictures, I do have them on Twitter. You could even see the shape of the head is exact. What I'd like to do is one of those where you put the face over the other face.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool if I could figure out how to do that. But yeah, that's last week's conspiracy, but still, I think it needs to be addressed. Omar Gosh is a vampire time traveler.
Well, and we got some other news too. Now, the other day, I got out of bed like I usually do in the morning, and I picked up my phone. I was like, I'm going to run through my email, see what all I got today. And I come across an email from Virginia Woolf saying, I just made a song inspired by your program. And I was like, what? I hope this ain't a diss track or something. I click on it. I open it up and I start listening to it. And I get a chuckle. It was, I sent it to Lou. What'd you think of the song, Lou?
I thought it was cool, man. I would use it as a opener.
Hell yeah. Well, I gotta get the written permission from Virginia Woolf to be able to do that first, but because they do have it up on their channel.
Oh,
and If anybody knows the link to that, or I can probably go get it.
I'll get it.
Okay, if you know the link, why don't you drop a link to that in the chat so people can hear that. In fact, I need to add the link to the stream when I edit. I'll put it in the description. That's the only thing I don't like about Zoom. You can't set up the stream beforehand. You just go live and then you edit everything after the fact. But
I think
guys, definitely get over there to Virginia Wolf channel. Check out the song. It's called Question Everything. It is called Question Everything. He's got everything in there from spirit boxes to dog ham. I mean, he mentions everything. It's really cool. It was a very pleasant surprise to wake up to that day. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I was just cheesing on it all day. Kept playing it over and over. It was really neat.
everything leads back to dog ham.
Mm-hmm. Drop his link. Yeah, Lady Swan's getting it now.
Her name is.
His name is Virginia Wolf. Virginian Wolf, maybe. Hold on, I've got it in the Hangouts here. I know I got it because I sent it to JoJo. I just got to scroll back to it. Oh, I just seen it. There we go. There it is. And here it is. Copy. And paste. And there's the link for the Question Everything song. Guys, go check it out. Make sure you drop a like on it and leave a comment. Still with us, Lou?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, you sounded like you fell off the kitchen table there for a second. I just heard things bumping around.
Yeah, that was the cabinets.
Mm.
Snack time.
So speaking of music industry and the new song, Question Everything, tell us about this new conspiracy, man.
All right, guys, don't blame me for this one. Okay. I only have just seen this. I didn't like agree with it or invent it or any of that. I just thought it was interesting. So recently what's been floating around through the internet is a conspiracy that Jimi Hendrix faked his death and became Morgan Freeman.
Became Morgan Freeman. Now, why do they think that? Just because they look so close?
Well, they look very similar. I've seen actually a lot of different pictures where they some of them they look dead on like each other. Some pictures are questionable. But yeah, if you even take pictures of them when they're young and compare them side by side, they look very very close. And I mean, I don't know, there could be something to it. I've actually watched a show, had nothing to do with this conspiracy, and it was talking about, you know, Jimmy being a pretty influential person. And you know what happens when you're influential and you're black in those days. I mean, you end up dead. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, a lot of people lost their lives just for being in the public eye, not like the days of YouTube that we have now. But yeah, I mean, you guys can check it out for yourself. I think they look pretty similar.
I mean, there is some resemblances. Let me see here. Well, I'm gonna screen share this. I just threw this together just now, just right up off of off of Google, and I'm going to screen share this. Hold on.
Now it sounds outrageous, right? Doesn't it? It sounds outrageous. All right. So what I could tell by looking at Morgan Freeman in that picture is all his teeth are either dentures or his teeth have been capped. Because if you look at a picture from his early days, his young days, his teeth look nothing like that.
I was going to say, by the look of the way that the gums come down like this, I'm going to say that those are definitely dentures.
Those are dentures?
Yes.
Okay.
At least the top plate.
All right. Yeah, because his teeth were definitely a lot more different than that. If you pull up old pictures of him, his teeth are definitely not that straight and that perfect. But I mean, I wish mine were that straight and that perfect.
I mean, you know, the
Is there any way to take a picture of him while he was young? And if you look at Jimmy's got the freckles starting out on his face.
yeah.
Another thing is I've seen pictures of Morgan Freeman where he doesn't have any freckles on his face.
And the way that, like, even the mustache growing in, you see how it comes around the corner of his mouth and then dips back.
Yep.
Okay, look at Morgan Freeman, comes around the corner of his mouth and then dips back. And on the left side, it doesn't do that. It kind of comes down and falls away. And sure enough, over here, it's back farther.
You're looking at pictures of a young man and an old man.
And an old man, yeah. But I mean,
let me see if I can find a picture of
just because it's a young man and an old man doesn't necessarily mean it's the same man.
Yeah, but I
doesn't necessarily mean that it's not the same man either, because I mean, I'm seeing, like, you know, the cheekbone structures, and the creases,
placement,
the brow right between the eyes, right up here. I mean, he's got a large, you know, triangular brow placement right at the top bridge of the nose, and they both have it. They definitely both have it. The nose almost identical.
All right, I'm gonna find a young picture of Mr. Morgan Freeman here.
Well, you have the picture that I sent you earlier, where it's a side by side of both Morgan and Jimi Hendrix.
Would you
serving?
Send me that on Facebook? Was that Facebook?
Yeah, it was Facebook.
Yeah, you didn't send it to me. I didn't get it.
Or you know what? I'll send it to you, Ghost.
Okay. Yeah, send it to me and I'll screen share it. What do you guys think out there in the chat? You think that it is possible that Jimi Hendrix, just so overwhelmed with fame, could have went into hiding or changed his
oh, this is a good one. This is a good one, bro. Here, I'm gonna send you this one first.
Okay.
But here's the thing about that. If he was overwhelmed by fame, why go into something where you get even more fame?
Maybe he wanted to be semi-famous, or maybe he just wanted to be out of the political eye. I don't know.
Maybe it was you know, I mean, rock star fame and movie star fame are two different things.
Wait, did you say rock star fam? Oh, fame. Oh.
Shameless plug.
There was no shame in that plug.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, that's what that means. No shame. Oh, all right, never mind.
Yeah, shameless plug.
I live in Massachusetts, guys. Now look at that. Them two guys look. They could be brothers at least.
Yeah,
pretty close. Pretty close.
I think that's really close.
Now, this is the one where they're 5 years apart. One's in the Air Force, one's in the Army, right?
Yeah. Hendrix served in the Army, and Morgan was in the Air Force.
I mean, that looks pretty darn close to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whacked out conspiracy, though. Like Like there is so much more whys that I have to go and watch 20 more videos to just understand why people are saying this. I'm sure there's some more reason behind it other than they just look alike.
Well, and I visually, I can see it. I can see it, happen. I can see it, Jimi Hendrix being Morgan Freeman. I could see it, but I've heard interviews with Jimi Hendrix, and everybody's heard, Morgan Freeman, and the speech patterns don't match up.
Yeah, but dude,
you would have to. You imagine how much speech training, you would have to go through to
no, because Jimmy used to talk like a quintessential stoner. Like, yeah, man, and like he had that poetic kind of like Jim Morrison. You know how Jim Morrison spoke? He spoke.
Hey, what's up, James?
Like a rock star of that time.
Our brother James is in the chat, man. He said, "What up, Ghost Mafia?"
The fam, what
the
up?
Fam is in the house.
What up, James?
Hope you and Chelsea are doing well, brother.
He's like, who's the guy with the skull and crossbones saying my name?
What up, James?
Lou Rock, who? What?
Hold on. This will make him recognize me. Hold on. I'm just a YouTuber, bro.
James fam.
Now, do you know who I am?
He said, what up, everyone? He still didn't say what up, Lou.
Thanks, James. Appreciate that.
He's laughing.
Appreciate that.
Oh, well, you know what? You got to show the time traveling.
Oh, since James is here. Yeah, here, James.
You got to show it for James again.
James,
Omar Gosh, the time traveler.
Omar is a time traveler. I think he's a vampire and a time traveling vampire. But I don't know. I think the shapes of the faces, the lips, and if you see the full pictures, even the full shape of the head, I mean, Omar's a time traveler for one.
He said, "Bro." Oh, that's great.
I still say that's really convincing. I'm sorry,
I can't believe somebody actually. Here's the original photo. All right, that's a picture of the photo. It was on the floor of a house that I did an exploration of, and somebody had said to me, they said in the chat, they said, "Did you notice how much that looks like Omar in about 40 or 50 years?" And I was like, wait a minute, let me go look at this. And then when I went and looked at it, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I can't believe I didn't recognize it right there when I was there. But
you're gonna have to pass a message on to Omar that he's got to take care of his hair, because clearly by that photo he's gonna be bald.
I mean, my question is,
big mustache and beard, though.
My question is, what are the chances? Okay, you're out on a haunted exploration in a house that the cops have even pulled up and said, "Don't go in there. That place is haunted."
Yeah, on the way. All right,
and then you go in, and you find this picture, which is eerily reminiscent of a friend of ours, Omar Gosh, staring at you from the floor, going, "Hey, Lou," like. I just
when we were going there, and we're walking up, we're just about to walk into the yard, and a cop goes right by us, and I'm like, oh, okay. And the cop turns around and comes back down a one-way. So he's going the wrong way on a one-way. And he pulls up to us and he's like, "I hope you're not planning on going into that house over there." And I was like, "Well, why not?" And he goes, "Dude, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with this place. We've been in there. The lights are going off in different rooms." He's like, "It's haunted." So when he said that, I said, I have to go in there. Like, dude, and I even told him, I said, "Dude, I shoot YouTube videos. That's what I came for, is haunted. You just made me want to go in there even more." And Yeah, he was a really nice guy, and it was a awesome video, awesome find.
That is cool. I love running into cool police officers like that that'll tell you where to go. And I'm not just saying get the hell out of here, tell you where to go. I'm talking about, you want to find the haunted location, go to this place. If somebody makes a call, we'll tell them, don't worry about it. We got it taken care of. And you just go and do your thing. When you run into police officers like that, it's awesome.
When we actually got a no trespass order in I think it's called Hillside Estates or something. It's an abandoned, it's like a whole town of houses. And the cops were there sitting there writing us a no trespass. And they're like, yeah, you don't want to be here, but if you go down the road a little bit, there's this building over there. That's the one you got to check out. So, they just do their jobs, man. That's all.
At least you have nice cops that'll be like, oh yeah, just go in, just don't wreck anything. Not here.
Or well, there's certain things like when me and James were at a certain place, the cops came over to us and they said, hey, you can't be here. And James is like, well, we didn't see no trespass signs. And there wasn't a single one. So the cop was like, he agreed. He was like, yeah, you're right. It's just, you shouldn't be back here. And so we were like, all right, we'll leave. See you later.
I was in Pittsburgh when I met James. We're walking around Pittsburgh, just the back streets of Pittsburgh. And we're passing buildings, like one building will have a restaurant in it. And then literally not 30 feet from the restaurant is this like cut in where there's this door and it's partially open. It's buried with dirt. It's got dirt and debris pushed up against the door. And we're like trying to squeeze in through the door to go check out these buildings that are abandoned right next door to this restaurant, and I think somebody small actually got in there and they was like, you can't get, the only place you could get to is just inside the door. That's it. So we came back out and we're walking around Pittsburgh and stuff and just cutting up and having a good old time. But it was fun. It was interesting. We was just didn't have no specific destination in mind. We're just walking around the streets of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that day.
The worst thing ever was James came here. We're on our way to this first spot that we're going to go check out. And my car runs out of gas.
Oh.
And James starts live streaming. And he's like, Lou Rock forgot rule number 1. Does anybody know what rule number 1 is? And there's people guessing in the chats, and it was not funny at the time. For me.
He does stuff. We're walking down the street and he's like, wait, did you guys hear that? Shh, shh. And there's a group of people and he's like, listen. Oh, Ghost Mafia party. He takes off running down the street. I was like, oh. Thought he was serious about something.
James says, I forgot about that rule. Or I forgot about that rule number 1.
Rule number 1, make sure you put gas in the car because you ain't going nowhere without it.
Lou, I love you dearly, but it's pretty sad that you have to have rules to go out.
I was so excited. I
literally think we should write a rule book and we have everybody like have their little golden rule that they use, and then we'll put it in the book, and it'd be like a big collab. And James and Lou and Patty and Omar and Heather and Clay and myself and a bunch of others, and everybody adds to the rules. Like the 100 rule book of
Can we have a
ghost hunting or something.
Can we have a rule that you don't run out and leave your team behind you?
I broke that rule before.
So was Brian.
Yeah. I told Patty, stay right behind me if anything happens. And then something happened and I ran so fast that
I saw that one.
I did too.
I forgot that she was behind me and I was like, oh shit, Patty's with me. And I turn around, I'm like, I'm not leaving you. And she's laughing because she's like, you left me. You were already to the car. I'm still in the house being murdered.
Lose rule number one. If things go south, leave your boots in the mud and take off like a bat out of hell. Or was that Fluffy that lost his shoes that time?
Fluffy.
And one, I think it was my first video that I ever made. I was like, rule number one, never go first.
Oh, see, I'd break that rule.
Yeah.
If I fit, I'll go first. It don't matter.
See, I'm the same way. Like, we go out and people run away from the noises. I'm like, ooh, what is that? I'll walk towards it.
Who's gonna get the video if you go first and get killed? I need that video.
Listen, if I go first, then you can pick up the video camera after.
All right, there was another one that I was on. I was with Noah the fam, and this kid is walking on a freaking, like, it's like a balcony that's literally collapsing while he's on it. And I'm like, dude, don't walk there. Don't walk there. He's like, why not? I'm like, because the thing is falling down. You're going to die. And he's like, well, as long as I get the video, man. I was like, that is dedicated.
I'll tell you what, I got to hand it to James, man. He's got one of the videos that actually freaked me out one time. He was doing a live stream and he was in some, it was like an industrial place. It was abandoned and he's going down through there. And I know he's legally blind and he couldn't see what was in front of him, but you could hear this breathing. You could hear it. And he gets back in this corner and he's like reluctant to get back there, but he gets back there and you don't make it out at first. There's two like black masses there and you hear this breathing. And then the camera comes into focus a little bit and you see it's two baby vultures there. And it was creepy as hell because it was like two baby vultures inside this like warehouse type place. I was like, what the hell? Check my Hangouts. Okay, hold on. Why can't I be seen on video?
Yeah, when you watch the feed, it's you don't see it.
I don't know.
I see how it is. I'm just some random background voice, and I even got my picture to change.
Well, you got your profile picture. You didn't do it in through like. I know that Lou is doing his through.
I did mine through Google and through Zoom.
No, he's doing his through the virtual background.
Yeah, I ain't doing that because I don't have my thing up.
Yeah, that's how he's getting his picture up there.
See? Always
you gotta go through the virtual background. That way you have your camera on, but
yeah, but then I gotta turn out the lights.
I have the cover on it. What's up, Donna Rock?
Yeah, see, he turns his camera on, but then he covers the video, and then his background comes up.
So you guys can't see me laying down.
So
sneaky.
I have a conspiracy that I learned about here the other day. It's you guys know who H.H. Holmes was?
No,
okay,
I don't.
H.H. Holmes was like one of America's first serial killers. Okay, he literally built a hotel of murder. Like he had trapdoors in rooms. He had gas outlets where he could gas the people in the rooms after they went to sleep. Then he'd go and take their bodies down to the basement and incinerate them and burn them up and just all kinds of horrific like things that he did to these people.
Well, he sounds like a nice guy.
He gets caught, right, and tried for murder, and they put him in jail and they hang him. Now, the people that it's called the Holmes curse. This is where the conspiracy comes in. The Holmes curse was that everybody that had something to do with the trial ends up dying, murdered, hit by car, just all kinds of different ways that these people had died. And they started attributing it to the Holmes curse. Well, new evidence has come to suggest that H.H. Holmes actually switched places with another inmate just before his hanging and then escaped from prison, went on to kill these people, leave that area, change his name, went on to build other murder houses instead of a hotel. Actually built houses. They had secret rooms and, all kinds of stuff, just like he did the hotel. And to this day, not all the homes have been found. So you never know. If you have an older house from around 1900, start looking at the walls, start taking measurements, see if there's any misplaced spaces. Because he was originally from the Chicago area and had built the hotel in Philadelphia. So anywhere between probably Chicago and Philadelphia, there may be murder houses.
Tales of Solstice says they made a movie called Havenhurst. It's based on the H.H. Holmes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, in I want to say the 1910 World's Fair was. Yeah, I might be wrong on that date, so don't quote me on that. But the World's Fair that was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when it opened up, when he found out that they were going to have a World's Fair there, that's when he built the hotel, and he built it on the same block as the main entrance of the World's Fair. So everybody that was traveling to the World's Fair that needed a hotel room, he's got a hotel right across the street, and it looked legitimate enough. So I think he said that he killed like 300 and some people.
Good God.
Yeah.
Sounds like the movie Sweeney Todd.
Well, that was, Sweeney Todd's character was, again, probably loosely based on H.H. Holmes.
Well, no, Sweeney Todd has been around for that. That's been around a long time. That movie, or not the movie, but the story.
There is a famous murder house here in Boulder, Colorado, the Ramseys. Anarchy. I read about a place in Denver today. It's some park now, but originally it was the first cemetery in Denver. And it had over 4,000 bodies there. And the caretaker wasn't taking care of the place. They decided they was going to dig up all the bodies and move them someplace else. And they made a deal with the caretaker to give him $1.95 per every body that he dug up so that they could move. And he figured out that he could take just the bones from a hand, put it in a baby casket, and count that as one body. So he was breaking up bodies into 10 or 12 bodies to make more money. Now, when say he got a femur bone or something like that didn't fit in the baby caskets that he was using to, sell the bodies back to the area, he literally just buried it around the area randomly. Finally, he was found out about and tried for it, but by then it was too late. People coming to that area could not find the remains or where their people were buried because they'd been dug up and broken up into 6 or 7 different caskets and shipped away someplace. And it's said to be highly haunted, and it's someplace right downtown in Denver there. I forget the name of the park now. You probably know what I'm talking about by now, though. So if you know the name of the park, let me know.
That brings up a whole nother cross topic that can go through. I mean, most of us do paranormal stuff, but what about conspiracies in the paranormal field?
Well, that's kind of where I was going with that, because I mean, the conspiracy was they paid the guy and he formulated a way to make money. Again, follow the money, It always leads back to money or dog ham.
Always leads back to dog ham.
Dave,
you know what? They actually want to make money in the United States, the dog ham standard.
The dog ham.
Dog ham standard.
Yes. That means all money will be backed up by dog ham.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Dog ham it's worth twice its weight in gold than gold.
She says, I do know where it is, and you can hear the spirits talk and scream. I've been there. I'll go back. What's the name of the park? Isn't it like Paisley Park or something like that? I'm not exact. I don't remember. Always dog ham, Becca says.
You know any other good conspiracies that have to do with the paranormal field?
Paranormal field. You know, the most memorable one that comes to mind for me is the case of the Greenbrier ghost. And I've told about it on EVPs. I don't think I've ever told about it on this show.
I don't even know about it, so this is
Okay.
new to me.
The Greenbrier ghost. There was a female who was murdered by her husband. Now, after the fact, the husband got away with it for so long. But her mother goes to the police and tells them the story of how her daughter, who had passed, had come to her in a dream and told her specific details on who murdered her, how it was done, where they could find the evidence to convict, and everything else. And the court system actually allowed the mother's testimony as validation to try the husband for murder once they had enough evidence from the mother.
So they convicted somebody from a dream?
It's the only actual case on record in court systems where a ghost was able to testify in their own murder case.
From a dream?
From a dream.
Now, here's my question. Did they find anything from that dream?
They found the murder weapon. They found everything they needed to find to convict.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yep. Look it up. You can find it. It's under the Greenbrier ghost.
You know what? You could tell when I'm excited about something because I'll either say that's crazy or that's insane. Those are my two words.
Right. Yeah, that's the only recorded case in history where the testimony of a spirit led to a conviction for murder.
That's
and
crazy.
there's actually plaques down in that area. There's historical, how they'll have the historical markers like Fort Washington set on this location in this date, blah, blah, blah. There's actually markers telling the story on the sides of the road down in that area.
I mean, I don't want to get too sounding like what is a prophet or whatever, but I think that there was a reason that little girl Tammy came into my life, and I really it's actually led me to real things. That hole that we found, that hole was an underground fort that was built in those woods years ago. And during the investigation of her disappearance and murder, those cops were told about this fort that was in the woods, and they never found it. They never found it in the original search. And if it wasn't for those EVPs, I would have never found that place. So,
well, if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have even known.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known anything, and it's led from one thing to the next. So I think it might not happen today, it might not happen tomorrow, but eventually that crime will be solved. I think that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but yeah.
That's not my
That's what sucks is
Will the Rocker Will says she did, Lou. You helped her a lot, and he's not done yet. He's not done. I know there's been more. There's more to come. There's more to the story. I know there's more to investigate. I know there's more questions.
The crappiest part is I do what I do. I do paranormal videos. So anybody's first judgment of
we got something going on here. Can you hear that?
What's going on?
What's wrong?
I don't know. All kinds of fire and ambulance going up and down the road.
Oh, I can't even hear it.
That's weird. Heading towards Bridgeport from where we're at.
Thanks, Southern.
Jojo.
But yeah, that's the thing is if somebody takes the first, snap judgment by looking at my channel, they're gonna go, oh, this is that ghost stuff, and a lot of people just don't believe in it. So it undermines the stuff that's really been found, like the actual solid stuff, evidence that we found.
Here's the thing for me. It started out with it started out as just some of that ghost stuff, but it's led to so much more. It's led to interviews with the family, interviews with her friends, investigations out in the area where her body was found, and nearby where possibly, the murder could have happened in that pit, and in areas where she played in as a kid. And, it's just that the more we dig into this case, the more we find out. So it's like, it's an ongoing investigation.
Finding those underwear was the most shocking. And
now, did you ever turn those over to the authorities, or?
That is, we'll say yes.
Okay.
Is my answer. Yes.
Okay.
I don't like to share too much info.
No, absolutely not. But I mean, yeah, for intensive purposes,
I mean, when it finally does get solved, because I know for a fact Lou's gonna end up being the one that solves this. When it finally gets solved, I'm sure that family's gonna be able to breathe a little easier, knowing the truth.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest reason that she came forward was for her family. I think I've even been told by like psychics, and actually the same thing I've been told by multiple psychics, is that she was okay. She was where she needed to be. She was in heaven, and there was no reason for her to.
But I think that's why we kind of touch on this case on this show, because it is kind of steeped in controversy a little bit. I mean, there's got to be a reason why the police dragged their feet for so long on this case.
Oh, you want to talk about conspiracy on that case? Oh my gosh. There's so much conspiracy. There's so much conspiracy surrounding Tammy's case. I mean, you go into why hasn't it been mentioned? Why is it every time they do a story on missing people in this area, they'll mention people that their cases have been solved already before they'll mention Tammy's case. It's had one news show ever. It was on the news one time, 19 years after it happened. It was WWLP 22 News went to the father and did an interview with the father 19 years later, because he was investigating and he had went to the news to try to get some help. And her being for her death to be classified as unknown. It wasn't classified as suspicious. It wasn't a homicide. It was
accidental
unknown. Not accident, not any of that. It was unknown, which took away from the importance of investigating that case. Because what unknown is, oh, well, she could have just fell over from a heart attack, or anything could have possibly happened. But from what I've heard now down the road is there is no way possible, the way they found that little girl, that they're going to label it unknown. If that would
happen today,
it would be suspicious.
Yeah.
Right away, it would be suspicious. And another thing is there's conspiracies about, I know this for a fact. All right, I'm going to say this. This is the first time I've said this, and this is probably sharing too much information, but we'll say this, that the local kids were informed that they were going to be questioned. So they were told, you guys are all going to be questioned. Get your stories together. Like, that's not right. That's not proper police work. No way.
That's kind of like that's kind of like saying, okay, guys, we're all in this together. We got to make sure that we all have the same story. So we're going to be questioning you here soon. So make sure you got your story straight. You know what I mean? That doesn't sound right to me. That doesn't.
The thing about Massachusetts, and anybody who lives in Massachusetts knows that this is actually true. The line between a gangster and a police officer is very thin. This is Massachusetts. We got tons of Irish. The Irish, they're either police officers or, and I'm sorry because I'm Irish as well. They're police officers, politicians, or they run, local crime syndicates, whatever. I don't even want to run my mouth anymore. But what I'm saying is,
a good idea to speculate too much because
no, I'm not speculating. I know this. I know this from growing up here that a lot of kids, they got family members that are in prison and they got family members that are police officers. And in this neighborhood, I've seen it for myself. If, Bobby Joe or Jimmy Johnson or whatever, these are fake names I'm just coming up with. If he has a uncle or a father that's a police officer, that's probably how that would have happened. Is that guy's father would have went around and said, listen, they're going to start questioning everybody. Not that they're guilty, but just a heads up. But that's not police work. That's horrible.
Okay, I just got a message from Aniki. The name of the park that I was talking about in Denver is actually called Cheeseman Park. They built a zoo on top of where this cemetery was, where 4,000 people were buried. And literally the guy was digging up bones and breaking them apart, putting them in separate caskets to make more money. And if the bones didn't fit into a particular baby casket or something, he would just discard them on the property and just bury them in a shallow grave.
All right. I want to read something that Toxic just said in this. This is coming from an anonymous person in the chat, Toxic. Also, we have the Italians in Agawam, which is the next town over, hiding their victims in those same woods.
Wow.
So you're talking about there's a lot of craziness that's gone down with that case. The police this is public too. The police officers that were originally investigating that case were suspended just a month or two after that investigation started for having ties to organized crime.
Now, what gets me is how many missing girls happened around that same time, and they got more publicity than Tammy's case. Like, why was Tammy so hush hush?
That's my question exactly. I mean, we got a girl. Have you ever heard of Molly Bish?
Yep.
All right, Molly Bish. That's a prime example. Her case has actually been solved. Her case was solved years and years after it happened. She disappeared from a local swimming spot. I believe she was a lifeguard, and a guy in a van was seen. And then she disappeared and they found her body. And, they actually caught that guy through DNA. It was like, it was well over 15 years later.
Mary Towns wants you to explain who Tammy is.
Tammy Lins. Tammy Lins is a little girl that disappeared when she was 15 years old. She went missing for about 4 months, and then her body was found on a local street in Springfield, Mass, called Fox Road. And she was found right off the side of the road. It's a local dumping site, a legal dumping site. It's known for people to go there and dump whatever. Just like Toxic said, there's been rumor that the mob has gotten rid of bodies over there. Construction workers dump their crap over there. People have been dumping over there since the 60s.
Bundles of old shingles ripped off of roofs and
everything.
All kinds of
Stopping carriages, big screen TVs,
drywall,
Yeah, there is so much stuff that's been, so it's a dumping area. And the reason it's a dumping area is because, especially back in 94, there was 0 street lights over there. It was so dark. You could be sitting on that road in the middle of the road and nobody could see you for 300 feet in each direction. So it's a very, very hidden spot.
You know what, Lou? I'm making this vow right now. If we don't go anywhere else next summer, I'm going to make it over there in Massachusetts. We're going to go check that place out.
And I'll go with you. Everybody keeps asking me why I won't do another 30-minute challenge lately. And it's because of what happened to me in that place. I had somebody 10 feet away from me playing with me, like toying with me. And we ended up finding out, like, we found the guy that was, stalking me through those woods.
Oh, if I go over there, I'll bring my ghillie suit and I'll be like, Lou, you just go down that way. I'm going to slip this ghillie suit on real quick and I'm going to lay right here. Let him circle around behind you. And then I'm going to got it.
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
it was
Lou,
just a little scary because that night I literally had nothing, no knife, no gun, no pepper spray. I was literally holding my spirit box and pretending like it was a gun.
hey,
I
Lou,
got my spirit box here. I mean, my gun. Watch out.
Ain't nothing scarier than a 330-pound ex-firefighter stepping out of the shadows. I mean, like, take down the hoodie and be like, what are you doing, boy?
Lou, Donna Rock wants you to know that 77 could be a jersey number.
Oh, well, actually, even in that video, all right, somebody pointed this out to me. I come out to the street because my mom and Tammy's sister are seeing some guy in a red shirt recording us. And so I go out to the street to look for him and he's not out there. But then I see a blue van stop where there is no stop sign. Like literally he should have been going full speed right where I seen him stop. And he stopped. And then he drove really slow by me. And somebody pointed out to me that that van is a 77 blue Ford van. And I looked it up and it's a 77 blue Ford van. And 77 blue, it was 77 blue Ford was one of the first EVP messages that I ever got from her. So yeah, it's pretty crazy that a car from the 70s drove by the day that I was. That's just like the biggest, craziest coincidence, or it's not ever like that. There's stuff in those videos that I don't know if everybody really realized what was going on, but there's stuff in those videos that's like I can't even believe the stuff happened. It was like, are you kidding me? This is real life right now. Like when we walked up to the hole and Allison looks, and I've been there 50 times, but I've been there mostly at night, and we were there with her in the daytime. She looks at a tree and there's a carving on the tree. And so that piques everybody's interest, and they're walking around, and in that area, there are so many weird carvings in all of those trees. And they're not like new carvings. They look like carvings that were done years ago, and now they've stretched out and become really big because the tree had grown.
Yeah, I've seen that in the video. And guys, if you guys haven't seen Lou Rock's series on the Tammy Lynn's case, he's got 2 volumes out right now.
Part three is gonna
will
be coming, guys. There is a delay in it. Some of the footage got lost, and so some things have to be redone, and I'll get that out to you guys as soon as possible. I'm actually working on a couple projects right now, but yes, part 3 is going to be coming out soon, and thank you to Ghost Mafia for narrating those videos.
Not even a thing, man. Don't worry about that. But yeah, if you guys have Lou Rock's link to those videos, drop them in the chat there. If you haven't seen those videos, you got to check them out. Even if you just jump over there real quick and bookmark them to watch later, but you got to check out those videos. They were really, really done well. The first one was awesome. Lou's like, I'm going to have the next one out in 2 days. I said, no, Lou, put the same amount of effort into the second one as you did the first one. Do it upright. And he did, and he nailed it. And the third one's going to be coming. I've heard some of the stuff that's going to be in the third one, and you're not going to believe what's going on. Just wait for it. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be awesome. So,
and guys, you gotta realize here that, usually I'm used to going to some quirky house and having a few noises happen here and there. Stuff is happening in this case that's just it feels like a movie. It feels like my life is a movie because of the stuff that's happening.
And now we're starting to get a twist. There's definitely a twist. Like, I'm not going to say anymore. I can't, because, I just found out about it last night, and I'm not going to spoil it for everybody else, because we still got to work on what we was talking about last night, Lou.
Yeah. Her birthday is coming up actually in a few days. And yeah, so hopefully I can get it out before her birthday, or maybe on her birthday. That would be really cool.
Yeah, Kels is like, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
No, you're not gonna get any spoiler from me, because I'm just as excited to see it as you guys are. I know a little bit about what's going on, but he hasn't told me everything. So
you know what's got to be cool? Like Toxic. All right, Toxic's from Springfield. He lives close to Springfield. He knows what I'm talking about. Like when I'm talking about how the city, there's a thin line between who's a criminal and who's a police officer. It's not that way so much anymore, because we have a new generation of police officers and stuff like that. But definitely in the 80s and 90s, our own mayor was caught up into a what do we call it? Controversy. Yes. Well, it would be called a conspiracy. And let's just say that he avoided getting into trouble by not running for mayor anymore. So it's a crooked system. If you ever seen that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jack Nicholson, what's that movie? Damn it! It begins with a D. Though it was loosely based on Whitey Bulger. What the hell was the name of that movie? You know the one I'm talking about, where
I do, but I can't think of the name of it right now.
Leo pretends to, he comes from the hood, and then he becomes a state police officer, and then he's like a double agent.
Toxic said Departed.
Departed.
Yes, that's it.
The Departed, that movie. That's a Scorsese movie, right? I believe it is. Anyways, the depiction of Massachusetts in that movie is very, very on point. Like, really good job on that movie.
What's going on? Is a fire? Turn that down a little bit. It's a little loud. Anyway. She's got the police scanner going, trying to figure out what's going on in the neighborhood. So, but yeah, that's the whole Tammy Lynn story has really been ramping up, and it's really due to the fact that Lou Rock has taken an interest in the story, and it has put it out there for everybody. I know that Lou Rock's done videos on that area. I know James did a video on that area too, right?
Yes. Yeah, he went over there with me, and we had some weird things that happened with us. And let's just say that on two occasions I've been approached by people who claim to be police officers, but don't have any, they're not in a marked car. They don't have any ID. And it just seems It seems set up.
And James was with you when that one happened?
Yes. Yep. James was here. And
in your state, if you request their ID,
oh, they have to give it to us. See, but when you're scared, all right, like
You don't think of it.
yeah, the first time I got pulled over, it was by a white Dodge Charger, and the guy, we seen him following us, and this was actually in a live stream, and in the live stream, we heard a EVP come through that said car. And I said it out loud, and my cousin doesn't believe in this stuff. And my cousin looks at me and goes, dude, did that thing just say car? Because there's a car following us right now. So then I pull into this parking lot, and the guy kind of like pulls his car in front of my car to block my car. And he yells, what the F are you doing over here recording with that camera? So my cousin's a big kid, and my cousin says, listen, tough guy, you know, keep yelling at us. And my cousin was going to beat him up. And the guy goes,
tough guy, you keep yelling at us. I'm going to rip your tongue out through your asshole.
Yeah, that's my cousin. So my cousin basically did what Ghost Mafia just did. And the guy goes, wait a minute, tough guy, I'm a police officer. So then I was like, well, listen, that's good. You're a police officer. I wanted to talk to you guys. And that's when we first found that hole in the ground. And I was telling him, I'm like, listen, this hole, they were looking for it back then, and they could never find it. And so the guy gets on the phone. He says he's on the phone with a detective from the bureau that runs those investigations. And I actually gave him my information, and the guy told me he would be in touch with me within like 3 or 4 days, and nothing ever. And I actually drove all around that neighborhood to see if I could ever see that car parked over there. I've been up and down all the streets. I've never seen that car again. That was just the first run-in with somebody who claimed to be a police officer. Then the second time, it was 2 guys, and no ID, no nothing. They just claimed to be a police officer and told us that we need to stay the hell out of there, is what we were told. And yeah, so it's been some crazy stuff. Some crazy stuff has happened.
Yeah, I would have asked why. Be like, it's only the woods. Why do I have to stay out of there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely not exactly a cool cop. I'd be willing to bet that it probably wasn't even a cop.
No, I don't think that either of them were cops. And I've learned now to ask for a badge. That now I know to ask for a badge.
Mm-hmm.
Chills TV's out there in the chat. What's up, Chills?
Yeah, he came in and he said, how's Cab?
And Cab is all right. He was a little shook up after the swatting last night, but he's doing okay. He went right back to live streaming today. I think he's still live now, isn't he?
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Oh, hold on. I've still got, as a matter of fact, I've still got his stream up. It looks like he might. No, live stream is offline. Yeah, he ended it. Okay. Somebody messaged me. Anthony Schaus. I'm at 812. Okay, well. All right.
Sorry, I got little ones being fresh with me over here.
That's all right.
Telling me, ha ha.
Check my hangouts. Shout out to Illis Hacker out there. I see my boys out there. That's my son, my oldest son. Bad accident on State Route 150. 2 cars. 1 car rolled multiple times over the hill. 150 is shut down. That's out Pleasant Valley, Rayland. They got 1 life flight canceled.
What do you got? A big accident there going on?
Big car accident. Life flight was en route, but they canceled it. because it would be faster transport to Med Park by ground. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, big 2-car MVR, multiple rollover over the hill. You know, and that's the thing living around here in these hills. You know, if you go up onto the hill, you might roll one time and then back down onto the road. But you go off the other side, you could be 250 feet down in a ravine someplace and nobody know you're there.
I'm good, Chills. How you doing?
So we got into some music conspiracies tonight. Jimi Hendrix being Morgan Freeman.
You know, and I'm wondering how many. Okay, so Jimi Hendrix, you know, 69, pinnacle of his music career. We lose in just like a 3-year span. We lose Jimi Hendrix, we lose Mama Cass, we lose Janis Joplin, we lose people like Andy Warhol. You know, that was all icons in the 60s, right? And then Lou's telling me about conspiracies where, like, one of the Beatles was in a car accident. He was actually replaced.
Yeah, they think what is it, McCartney?
Yeah, Paul McCartney.
Yeah, they think that some people think that he was replaced.
I mean, are you talking replaced with like a clone, or
I don't know, maybe
somebody took his place and assumed his identity?
Somebody took his place and assumed his identity. Now, some people do believe that there's cloning centers and they clone, you know, like stars. There was a rapper that claimed to be a clone, and he did a video with the guy who he said was his clone. And I don't know how true that was, but it was pretty cool to watch. They actually think that me and JoJo were disagreeing on her name. I call her Avril Lavigne. JoJo, how do you say it in Canada?
You be quiet. She is Canadian, first of all, and I said it's Avril Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne.
You were calling her Avril.
No, well, all right, fine, Avril. From Massachusetts, all right? We're allowed to not say things right.
Okay, we'll go with that, sure.
She was in the car, in the yard.
Well, there is some. Wasn't she the one that went out with Lance Armstrong for a while?
Did she? I didn't know that.
And then wasn't there some controversy with Lance Armstrong where he won like 4 Tour de France's after supposedly having testicular cancer, and it come out that the whole cancer thing was faked?
You know what? You know what I actually heard? I heard that Lance Armstrong's testicle was actually a haunted ball.
There's the controversy.
Yes.
I knew it had to be there someplace.
It was haunted. It needed an exorcism. No, but yeah, there's all kinds of conspiracies out there that these people that she was replaced. McCartney was replaced.
Well, I mean, is it so hard to? I mean, even Hitler, when he was in power, had lookalikes. Now, they weren't clones of him, but they looked so much like him that they could pass for him in, you know, a room full of people. You know what I mean?
Does anybody know that rapper that claimed that he was cloned and he actually did a video with a guy who looked just like him, same tattoos, same everything? I don't know the guy's name, but it's pretty popular out there. It was pretty convincing. Now, either he's got a twin or he's got somebody that looks just like him.
Okay, that's what it was. Lance Armstrong was doing steroids for the cancer, and they tried to take his medals away from him for winning the Tour de France and all that because of the steroid use.
Oh,
that's what it was.
Toxic brings up Brian Walker. Was his name Brian Walker?
Illust Hacker says Kid Boo, B-U-U.
Kid Boo. Yes, that is the one.
That would be my son right there that came up with it. He knows all about rap music. He's into the rap music scene.
Now, Illust Hacker, what do you think that video was real, or do you think it was green screen or what? Because I haven't got to really analyze the video in that much depth, but it looked pretty convincing to me.
I mean, everybody has their doppelgangers. I mean, I looked like the guy from Deadliest Catch.
You could go and replace him on that show.
I've been told that if I stick my chin out a little bit farther, just I look like Bill Cowher, the former coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Now, who was the guy that was in the Fast and the Furious? Was it Brian Walker or what? Oh, that was his name in the movie, right?
In the movie, yeah, that was
You're talking about Paul Walker.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. All right, so Paul Walker, I've watched videos on that looks like that car was hit with a drone strike. There's actual videos where you can see like a smoke trail and then the car explodes, and it doesn't look like any car accident I've ever seen. It looked like he got drone striked.
There was, I seen one of the things, the investigation footage from that, and when they went around that cul-de-sac, there is one spot in the road where it like dips, where they had fixed the road, and it pitches. And right when you hit that dip, it pitches, and it could, if he was going fast enough, hit that dip hard enough, he could have pitched that front end right up into the air.
All right, so supposedly, it wasn't him that was driving; it was his friend who was a race car driver, and so was trained to, drive cars like that.
Yeah, on a racetrack.
All right,
not on a city street where you have repairs done to streets and things like that.
All right, that doesn't explain this though. All right, it was said in the original report that he was leaving a charity event.
Yeah,
that is actually not true. The charity event actually was held the day before. So the charity event was actually wrong information. That charity event had already happened the day before. So he wasn't leaving a charity event. There's a lot behind that.
There was some kind of party going on that he was at. They were in the back of the building, and him and his buddy had brought that car, which, was obviously a hot rod. And he wanted to go for a ride in that car. Well, he took him for a ride and ended his life just like 30 seconds later.
That's crazy. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Hacker says it was one of the most powerful models Porsche had ever created.
Wow. Thing is, the former owner of that car was an F1 driver.
Yeah, but again,
and the guy sold it because he was scared of it. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. There is a little bit of conspiracy there, but if the guy that was driving the car was a race car driver on track and not a race car, like a street outlaw like racer, there's a lot of different things that with street repairs and pitches and stuff that come with the city streets that you don't get trained for on a racetrack. You know what I'm saying?
There was a lot of
hard enough. You can literally launch that front end or throw the front end off to the one side, and compensating for it in that kind of car, you're going to be all over the place.
There was a lot of speculation that he wouldn't play ball with the Illuminati people, and that's the conspiracy behind him being taken out.
I don't think he was taken out. I think it was young hormones. Hey, let's see how fast I could get this car up just on this little straightaway, which wasn't as straight as what they thought it was. That's definitely a error of judgment that led to the untimely death of Paul Walker, I think. And that's my opinion on it. But I don't think if the Illuminati were going to take him out, it wouldn't have just been that way. It would have been some other way.
I'll tell you what, the only thing I find suspicious is the videos that I've watched. I've watched some videos that look like a smoke stream comes from the sky. It's a pretty it's actually a I believe it's a traffic light from a couple streets over.
Well, and that's the real conspiracy of it, is that the way that the car was made and everything, it burst into flames and the car was fully engulfed within seconds. I mean, literally seconds. And they say that that he probably didn't die on impact. He probably died from the fire.
That sucks. God bless him, man. Prayers
And,
out.
Very,
prayers out to his-
very painful, traumatic way to die.
I
and-
don't like to.
They said the fire was so intense within seconds that they couldn't get in to get him out.
I don't like.
There was actually reports of people hearing him screaming and couldn't get near the vehicle because of the intense heat from the flames.
I don't like to speculate when it comes to somebody who, has family out there, and all I'm saying is I've seen these conspiracies out there. I've watched videos on them. Like I said, I don't particularly agree or disagree. I've just seen some weird stuff in those videos that I've like.
And that's why we do this show. We want everybody to form their own opinion. We want them to question everything. That's why we call the show Question Everything.
The whole he just came from a charity event, and then it ends up being, that he didn't come from. Why? Like, what does that get? What does that get?
Well, now there was a fundraiser charity event the day before, but where he was at was was like some kind of birthday celebration for a relative's kid or something like that they were doing, and he just happened to show up to him and his buddies. Like, it was his buddy's family, and he just happened to go with the buddy to the party, kind of thing. There was like balloons tied out there. I seen the video. You could clearly tell it's some sort of party because they literally had like balloons tied out and stuff like that. But I don't think it was the fundraiser event that they were reporting it to be. You know what I mean?
God bless him. That sucks.
But I mean, as far as the movie goes, between the CGI stuff and what his actual blood brother filled in, his brother looked pretty close. I mean, at that end scene where he's playing with the kid on the beach, that's the brother.
That was his brother?
That's his brother. And they look a lot alike. And of course, they kind of blurred out the shot a little bit and pulled back to kind of, if it was up close and personal, you probably could have told the subtle differences. But, the way they did the camera angles and things like that, you couldn't really tell. It just looks like, Brian O'Connor.
What part of Fast and the Furious was that?
Oh, how many are we up to now? 10,
12,000, I think.
I you know what? I couldn't even tell you now. I've seen them all, but I can't remember one from another sometimes. I'm getting old.
Hi, Benny. What's going on? Yeah, it does suck. No matter how.
I'm sure that Illis Hacker probably will chime in here in a second and be like, oh, that was Fast and Furious 7 or something, But
yeah, because I don't remember the scene, probably because I didn't know that it was CGI.
Yeah, they did some CGI stuff in there with the brother during the race between him and Dom.
Well, didn't they finish the movie The Crow with a fill-in actor and then do CGI on that guy?
With The Crow? They may have. Oh, look, there's Virginia Woolf. There's our songwriter right there. Virginia, we've been dropping the links to your song in the chat. We shouted it out at the beginning of the show, and we want to know if we can have your permission to use it at the beginning of the show as like an intro. So,
all right. So Illis Hacker says it was the 7th. It should have been.
There you go. Yeah,
I think he's right.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, there's so much stuff. I mean, I watched The Walking Dead last night, and in the beginning scene of The Walking Dead, they're pushing the boundaries of what they're showing on television. Like last season, you would have seen like the katana swing and then the zombie's face fall off. This one, you see the swing, you see the blade connect, you see the face flying off and the blood splattering. I mean, they did like a full-on slow-mo, like CGI graphic. I mean, I was like, damn. I was impressed. But again, they're pushing the boundaries of what you can show and what you can't show on television. So, I mean, that's part of the desensitization of everybody. You know what I mean?
That was another conspiracy that we did we talk about it on the show? Did we talk about the Brandon Lee on the show?
Yeah. Yeah. We was talking about it last week.
Yep.
About how the bullet, came to be in the gun. It wasn't even supposed to be a real gun. They ended up using a real gun and real bullets from the pawn shop scene. They actually went out to a real pawn shop, bought a bunch of shit from a real pawn shop to shoot the pawn shop scene. And then to save money, they used that package of actual bullets and just pulled the tips out, dumped out gunpowder, put the tips back in. And then somebody pops off the primer, and it was just enough energy to put the freaking bullet into the shell. And then when they load the real gun with blanks, thinking, oh, okay, well, it's a fake gun. No, it wasn't. It was a real 44 Magnum with a bullet lodged in the barrel. And they put a blank in there with a like 3/4 load powder so that they can get the real sound for the shot. That powder was enough to send that projectile the rest of the way out of the barrel and kill Brandon Lee.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big mess up.
Wow.
I'm surprised that they was even allowed to release that movie. I mean, the original air date on that movie was like 2 years before it actually came out because of the investigation that went into the Brandon Lee death during the filming. So it actually got pushed back like 2 years.
Now, since this is the conspiracy type show, I want to bring up something that's kind of off topic, but I'd like people to see this. It was an episode of a television show. What was the name of it? It was an offshoot of the X-Files. Hold on, I'll give you the name of it right now.
What?
I'll have it in 1 second here.
What? Wait. We got a breaking conspiracy going on right here. We just found this just now. I'm going to read it to you. It says, CDC sends warning to hunters after deer with tuberculosis found to transmit bacteria to people.
That's zombie deer, huh?
That's basically zombie deer. Yeah. And this is from Fox 32 Chicago, actual news channel.
All right. So what I was talking about was you got to check out an episode, and you could look this up. What you should search on YouTube is The Lone Gunman 9/11 and just put 9/11 after The Lone Gunman. Now, this episode was an offshoot of the show The X-Files. It was like the tech guys, the hackers that used to work.
Okay, I know who
yeah. And so those tech guys, they had their own show. It was called The Lone Gunman. And I believe it was just a few short.
Yeah, it wasn't on very long. I remember seeing that though. It was the three guys that Mulder would go and consult with. They were like the nerds.
They were hackers. They knew about all. Yeah. Now this will. Let's see. It'll actually tell me when that one was aired. I think. Any which way. This video was actually aired before the events of 9/11. And if you watch that show explains in the show, there's a conspiracy that the government is going to send a plane into the Twin Towers by remote. And when the crap hit the fan in the show, the good guy is talking to one of the government guys and asking him why. The government guy goes to explain that, we have so many countries that would be jumping at the bit to take credit for such a thing, and that it would actually boost our economy because we were going under. And so having a war would actually take us out of that debt, at least for the time being. If you watch this show and
Actually,
realize
I think
that
I've
it was,
seen that episode.
yeah, and realize that it was actually aired before the events of 9/11, that's what fried my mind. And was like, are you kidding me? Like, they're literally telling us word for word what's going to happen, and then it happens. And that show was taken and hidden. It was hidden for a while, and then somebody remembered it, and then it was uploaded to YouTube, so it's on YouTube now. That's one of the craziest conspiracies I've ever seen.
And now, because that's television, here's one for real. Now, prior to 9/11, you could go through and you could take courses from FEMA in incident command systems. You could take these courses online. It was called Incident Command Systems. It told you how to, it taught you how to, like chain a command in large situations like 9/11. Now, the booklets that they would send you literally had a picture of the Twin Towers with a gun sight on one of the towers. And the gun sight lines right up with where the first plane crashed. And this was prior to 9/11. So this is like the cover of the books that they would send you for the class literally had the warning on the cover. There's no lie. You can look it up online. You can look up incident command systems. You could probably even search it on eBay and find one of those old books. It's just a drawing of the Twin Towers, and it's got a gun turret sight, and it shows right on the building. Absolutely true.
I'll tell you what, for somebody who's into like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, after watching that video and listening to the like what they're talking about, it was actually like kind of like, it was disgusting. It was disgusting to even think that could be a possibility. But I don't know. You guys question.
Here's the explanation that FEMA gave for why those covers were like that. Because 10 years prior, maybe even further back than 10 years, but before 9/11 happened, Osama bin Laden had actually attacked the World Trade Centers before by putting a bomb in the parking garage level of the building. So they're like, if we go into it again, this could be a possibility that the World Trade Centers would be under attack to destroy the U.S. economy.
Crazy.
Yeah, the bombing in the parking garage. Exactly. And that was before your time, Ellis. I was there.
I actually remember that. I actually remember the first bombing. But that's the thing, though, is like if you watch that episode of that show, it even explains, it's like it gives them even if, say, they did try to blow up the first time, that means they would definitely want to take credit for it if it happened again. I mean, there would be tons of terrorist groups out there that would say, oh, we did it.
The explanation that was handed out for the 9/11 attacks was that, okay, in their religion, if you don't believe in their religion says that you should be killed. That was the whole basis for the attacks on 9/11. And Ellis Hacker can tell you, I used to question, when I was in school, I would say, what's 400-year-old Muslim religion have to do with me? Why do I need social studies? I never really got good grades in social studies and all that. And I would always question, what's 400-year-old Muslim religion have to do with me? I'm an American. I live here. I'm not going to be you know, I'm not planning on going to Iraq anytime soon or anything like that. Well, 9/11 happens, and you find out that 900-year-old Muslim religion says that if they, you know, do this, they're going to end up in heaven with 72 virgins. You know what? I'm thinking, yeah, they're going to end up in heaven with 72 virgins, but they're all going to be guys who was, you know, living in their mother's basement playing video games. It's like, that'd be the hell of it. Grumpy Vlogger. What's going on? I got to get a hold of Grumpy Vlogger. We got to get him on the show, Lou. He actually was stationed at Area 51. And he actually has the maps and everything as his background in his screen. It's a great channel, guys. If you don't know Grumpy Vlogger, get over to his channel, check him out, hit that bar, ding that bell, drop a like on one of his videos, and leave him a comment so he can get back to you, because that guy is cool. We got to get him on the show.
Big Dem says check out Loose Change. That was a good movie. That goes into all the different theories and stuff.
Loose Change.
Yeah, Loose Change. It was that was about the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Was that that guy there, Michael Moore, that did that? Was it Michael Moore that made Loose Change, or was actually no, I think it was a young kid actually. Hold on. I might be wrong. Let me look it up.
Grumpy Vlogger says, thanks, Ghostbusters. Hey, man, you ain't got to thank me. And we just got to get you up here on the show one time. We got to get you up here, man. We got to do some like alien.
This is hilarious. All right. So it has listed as actors in the movie Loose Change. It's actors Daniel Suncha, Dick Cheney, and George W. Bush.
Oh, really? Really?
That's what it has listed as actors on that movie.
That's
Sorry. That's funny.
You know, the crazy thing is, like, the Bush family has been steeped in controversy for years. In fact, like, one of the Bushes were actually in charge of a branch of the government that overseen the supposed UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico, back in 1947. And it was a Bush that was telling them where to send the wreckage to, or whatever, or what, you know, okay, change that story from a UFO crash to a, you know, weather balloon. You know, like, that's where the orders came from, was one of the Bushes. How crazy is that?
It's crazy, but I mean, is it really far-fetched?
You know what? I'm not even going to get into this one because I don't want to be disrespectful in any way to anybody that lost their life that day. It's just I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I've seen so much stuff. I can't fall for what the official story is myself personally.
For the 9/11 attacks, you mean?
Yeah.
You know, there's so much inconsistencies, and there's so much stuff you can pull from photos, and there's so much, I mean, yeah, you can see what looks to be explosions going off down the thing before the building starts to collapse. Yeah, it is a fact that they only found, like, they didn't find the right amount of plane engines at the Pentagon crash site. You know, the only plane that came down that has any consistency to the story is the one that was brought down by the passengers in a field just about 2 hours east of where I am now in Somerset, Pennsylvania. That's the only one that has, like, consistency to the story and enough evidence to back everything that happened with that one.
Well, I mean, there were things like wasn't an insurance policy taken out the day of, or either day before or the day of the attacks on the Twin Towers. The largest insurance policy like known to man was just taken out. That's just a coincidence. Or there was another thing is they got the owner of the buildings, and the owner says, all right, just pull the buildings. And they were talking about building 7, which isn't part of the 2 Twin Towers. And he says, all right, pull it. Now, pull it is a term used by those people that drop those buildings. It means pull the building. It means drop it.
Okay, Don Dan, hashtag fam says, I don't understand why they told people in Tower 2 to go back in before the plane hit the second tower. Well, the reason that they would have been doing that is because they didn't know what was falling from Tower 1 after it was hit, whether or not it was stable or whether the building would collapse. And they didn't need all those people out in the street. They were going with the shelter in place rule. If nothing happened to Tower 2 and it was just an isolated occurrence of one plane crashing into Tower 1, then theoretically sheltering in place in Tower 2 would have been just fine. Unfortunately, what was it, 9 minutes later, we have another plane crash into Tower 2, and all of a sudden the shelter in place theory goes right out the window. But in order to keep people safe from falling debris and everything else, before the second plane crashed, they were telling them, stay in the building, don't come out, don't go out in the streets yet. It's not safe. This building could collapse. It could come down. And if you're down in the streets, you could be buried under tons of rubble, you know? So they went with the shelter in place, told them to stay in Tower 2. And then 9 minutes later, yeah, all bets are off. Get the hell out of here, you know, kind of thing. So that's what they were doing. I mean, that was kind of protocol at that time because they'd never had an incident where 2 planes crashed into buildings like that before. They've had planes crash into things. They've even had planes crash into the Sears Tower and things like that, but never multiple planes on the same day or even in the same year usually. But yeah, until that second plane crashed into Tower number 2, they thought it could have just been an isolated occurrence, and they were going with shelter in place. That was the theory behind it. That's why they told everybody to stay in Tower 2 before the second plane crashed. What about the trillions that went missing when Pentagon records were destroyed? Haven't seen much on that one. I'll have to check into that one, Benny. On September 10th, 2001, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld held a press conference to disclose that over 2,000 million. What? That's a lot of zeros there. Way more than 6.
I think they're going from billion.
Hundreds, millions,
that would be $2 trillion.
No, hundreds, millions, billions. Yeah, 2 trillion.
That would be $2 trillion.
In Pentagon funds could not be accounted for.
That's a lot of money. That's trillions with a T.
Yeah. Yeah, trillions. Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's like I said, there's a lot of stuff with the 9/11 stuff. You would almost have to break it down into each conspiracy because there's so many dealing with 9/11. You'd have to take it one building at a time, one plane at a time, and really break it down. We could literally do that on this show, but we would have to break it up into like 5 or 6 different episodes to really do it any kind of justice. And then who knows, YouTube would probably try to demonetize us somehow, like they always do about this time. So, Where is it? Damn it. Well, I can tell you where all that $1 trillion isn't. It probably isn't in Fort Knox in gold bullion. Just saying. But on that note, we are coming up on the 2-hour mark. So I know that JoJo's got you got a show tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
That Wednesday. Any special plans for the show or anything?
I ain't gonna tell you. You ask me this every time, and every time I tell you the same damn thing.
It's a conspiracy. She just don't want to put a teaser out there. She doesn't want to tease you. You got to put a teaser out. It makes more people show up, you know.
Listen, I'm not into foreplay, okay? It's just wham bam, thank you, man.
No foreplay. Oh, damn it, man.
I think we got into some really interesting areas tonight, and I think this is actually one of our better talks that we've had on these shows.
Yeah, and you know, we started out with Morgan Freeman and Jimi Hendrix, and I still think they look pretty close, but I'm thinking just doppelgangers.
I think either doppelgangers or they could be relatives.
They could be relatives. There could be a Hendrix Freeman, you know, DNA thing going on there or something, you know. I don't know. But personally, I just don't think that Morgan Freeman has the same vocal range or has ever had the same vocal range as Jimi Hendrix, you know? What is this? Oh, gotcha. All right. But yeah, so Whacked Out Wednesday tomorrow.
Just remember, guys, everything leads back
to Dog Ham.
To Dog Ham.
But and definitely check out Lou Rock's video on the Tammy Lynn's case. We got into that tonight. He's got 2 videos out there. Links have been being dropped in the chat. Definitely check out those videos.
Also, check out my my video where we found the evidence that Omar Gosh is a time traveler. That's my last upload.
Yes, that too. Yep.
Also, guys, I'll be having another video coming out within the next 2 days. And this won't be part 3, but I got another video coming out. And then after that, probably part 3 to the series. So, yeah.
And one more thing. You know, we've been covering a lot of missing persons cases on the show today. And I just want to put it out there. Uber Goober Lady is going to be doing an episode of The Missing with myself tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time on Uber Goober's channel. We're highlighting the case of a 5-year-old girl who is currently missing. We're trying to get the awareness out there. So, guys, if you want to come out there or come over to Uber Goober's channel tomorrow, help us out. Maybe, you know, help get the word around. This is a 5-year-old girl from, I believe it was Massachusetts.
But wait, there's more. Tell them about the new show that we're going to be doing.
Oh, yes. Sunday on the Ghost Mafia channel. We're going to be doing it's a paranormal program called The Scariest Catch, where if you guys were here for EVPs this last Thursday, we did a little bit of it on the show. We decided to turn it into a show all of its own, and you can send your haunted pictures or haunted captures on picture to hashtag Scariest Catch, all one word, on Twitter, and we will actually bring your photographs, put them up on the screen, you know, give you our take on what they are and put them out there for the public, get you a little bit of exposure. And, you know, maybe we can debunk some stuff. Maybe we can verify some stuff. Maybe we'll see something that you didn't. You never know.
Yeah, guys, this is your way to get your captures seen. And we're going to talk about it. I mean,
and I think I'm thinking we're going to have to put a disclosure at the beginning of the show that, you know, look, if we're able to debunk it, don't get mad. Just bring us more pictures. You know,
you know what? I would leave it as, you know, if it's not debunking, it's more of an explanation of what could happen. You know, what it could have been or what it might be. I mean, nobody could explain.
Yeah, we don't want to take away what they believe that they've captured, because some people, they'll go out there and they'll get that orb picture that it's 1 in a million shot, and then you'll get that one that goes out in the rain and takes a picture and has a million orbs in it, and they think they have something. And we don't want to take away from anything that anybody thinks that they've captured, but we definitely want to offer an explanation to what it could be. So that's pretty much the premise for the show. It's definitely interactive with the chat and everything, and the chat can chime in, say what they see and things like that. But we are going to keep it primarily to photographs only, no video footage, because video footage coming up, when you share it through Zoom and that, it gets grainy, it gets choppy. You got to keep rewinding it. You got to keep pausing it to try to catch the right spot. So we're going to stick with just photos, and that way we can get everybody's photos in. We can cover more territory.
Yeah, but most people that do a video and they catch something, they can definitely just do a screenshot.
Yeah, absolutely. If they could screenshot it and send us the screenshot, so that would work out.
When we did the test for that, it wasn't really even just a test. We were just doing it. But it kind of turned into a show on its own because it took a life of its own. We were only supposed to be looking at one picture, and it turned into a whole night of looking at everybody's pictures, and we seen some pretty amazing captures, and it sounded like an awesome idea for a new show. So if you guys want to get your stuff seen,
and for the exposure at the end of the show, what we do is we'll as the panel, we'll discuss which ones we like best. We'll kind of put it to a vote, and whichever one we decide is the best evidence of the night, we'll put it on that episode as the thumbnail to give you that much more exposure.
They'll get a thumbnail, and also I'll tweet their channel on my Twitter.
Absolutely. So sounds like I can't wait. I've been getting messages left and right from people going, "Oh, I can't wait till you guys do this. I can't wait." So yeah, it's going to be cool. I think it'll go over real well. Everybody said they wanted to do it, so we're gonna do the pilot episode this Sunday night after The Walking Dead is over with. I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead, so it's got to be after The Walking Dead. So after The Walking Dead ends, we'll get the show up and running, and we'll go from there. So
yeah.
But
so get your pictures ready. Start taking pictures. Go out. Find some shots. Go to some places.
That's why we did it on Sunday, because that gives you guys Friday and Saturday night to go out exploring or go out ghost hunting, and you can bring your pictures in on Sunday. So you got 2 full days on the weekend that you can go out exploring and still get your stuff on the show.
Yeah.
Anybody else feel like they just got homework handed to them by the teacher?
Biga says just pics, no video. Yeah, we're not doing video, but yes, you can do screenshots of the video.
Yeah, if there's something in a video and you can get it paused at the right time and get a screenshot of it, then it's a picture.
And guys, please don't send in pictures of me rubbing chicken grease on my nipples. We already have those.
Yeah, we got those in there already. But yeah, we are able to put the picture up on the screen. Sometimes we can blow it up and look in the windows of the buildings, or kind of blow up the picture a little bit on screen to get a better look at what you're seeing or whatnot. And yeah, I think it'll be real cool. It's going to go over real well. And we will see you there Sunday night. Don't forget about EVPs on Thursday with myself and Brian's Paranormal. And yeah, I think Danky is going to try to make it this week. He was unable to make it in time last week, but I think he's going to make it this week. So, and I think he's got some stories to share with us. So it's going to be interesting. Danky the Clown on EVPs.
Yeah, I've been talking to him like since he was supposed to make it last week, and he explained that he didn't get back in time and things just weren't going his way. And he apologized. He's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all right. Not a big deal there. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end this here. Thanks for coming. Big shout out to Ellis Hacker out there. James the fam for stopping by and getting into things with us on the chat, hanging out for a few minutes. And everybody out there, big sharpshooter shout out there for dropping them links. All the mods do a great job. And guys, we love you guys. Don't forget to check out Virginia Wolf. He's got the song Question Everything, and dropping the links for that in the chat every once in a while too. So Virginia, that song rocked, dude. I loved it. And we definitely want to use it on the show. So get back with me on that, and we'll do it up. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you next week on Question Everything.
Bye.